We're taking it to the desert.
Yesterday.
Let's go exactly the way it should. Our latest creation, Mercedes-Benz G500 short wheelbase on portal axles, 37-inch tires, Hutchinson beadlocks, and then some of the things that we did was widen the fender flares. These were a giant pain in the ass, but these guys killed it on. So I think they look better than OEM. They're probably OEM like plus.
How many inches wider are they, would you say?
6 inches over stock.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of time went into these, and then the way we integrated it into the bumper. The portals that came have like a generic e-brake setup on it that I think is probably meant to work for a bunch of different platforms. So we came up with a new mechanism to change the pull angle and where the cables route so that these got lots of clearance underneath because they kind of hung low. So that's another one of those Alex CAD's little magical computer things. I drew it on a napkin and then he made it into reality. The bumper has a ton of mods to it. We've made up some steps. We formed these steps. We designed these in CAD. This is to help you get up onto the roof. It has an onboard air system that we tucked away. You can't see it, but you'll insert some photos. So ARB air compressor on this side. Then we reused where the factory CD changer was.
Oh.
And made a switch panel. Then on this side we have a 1-gallon air tank. And then some auxiliary ports for all your stuff. Different overlanding things. We had to modify the Latec tire carrier to run a 37. So there's a bunch of little subtle things that we did to make this fit super nice. Some subtle things to the AMG light cages to make it all work on a short wheelbase because these only came on the G63s. So there's a few little changes we had to do there. So it's got rear LED lights. We did a bunch of wiring so that it works with the interior switches. And inside we did a bunch of more. Some of the other things that we did is we made another little switch panel for here. This takes place of the cassette. I have a switch coming on the way, don't worry about that. And then another little known fact, I think it's pre-95, Mercedes didn't come with cup holders. So again, me and Alex put our big brains together and came up with a cup holder that works, that allows you to still use the transfer case. It actually is meant to fit a Yeti. So this is all awesome. CAD designed and then 3D printed, and then Greg wrapped it for us. And I think that's about it. So yeah, we just tried to keep it as OEM as possible. Like all the guys are joking about it right now, just how this looks like it came straight out of the AMG catalog, but we pretty much made everything.
Awesome.
So yeah, lots of little things. Doesn't look like much, but this thing's loaded with little doodads. Yeah, now we load it on the trailer and we're taking it to the desert.
We're taking this G-Wagon to the Las Vegas G-Rally 2024. And so yeah, plan is to get this down to Nevada and get out in the outback of Nevada with a whole ton of other awesome G-Wagons.
Awesome. So with that said, we're gonna join up with you on the trip.
That's right.
The guys loaded the G-Wagon onto the truck and headed out to Kelowna, where they picked up another G-Wagon, crossed the border into the United States, and after driving for over 24 hours non-stop and encountering some treacherous weather conditions along the way, they finally made it to Vegas, where they offloaded both trucks for the rally.
We literally got in our Gs and we headed out into the southwest of Las Vegas. From there, we headed out to the mountains. There are a whole bunch of outback areas out there. They're stunning, beautiful mountain ranges and miles of cactuses and absolutely stunning terrain with 4x4 trails everywhere. Each day, we probably averaged somewhere around 100 miles. There were probably 40 G-Wagons, and there was stuff there with 40-inch tires, 37s, portal axles, lift kits, custom overlanding Gs, and some of the craziest Gs I think that I've ever seen. So mine was the only short wheelbase G on portal axles. I think it's one of the first ones in the US that anyone's ever seen. I think we turned a lot of heads with that. So between the G-Rex with 40-inch tires and 10 inches of lift and our portal axles on the short wheelbase with 37s, we definitely achieved that. Day we were there, it was mostly scenic driving, like some of those beautiful just trail driving that any G could get through. We hit up the Pioneer Saloon. It's one of the oldest bars, just a kick-ass cowboy biker bar. This place has such a history. There are bullet holes from card games that went array back in the turn of the century, and the whole vibe was just awesome. We hit there for lunch. Then afterwards, we took off and did some more amazing trails. Come into this pass, and there's a whole herd of wild horses all around our G-Wagons that we're going through. I'm like, it's surreal. We ended up in a giant dry lake bed right before sunset called the Panhard Dry Lake Bed. Decided to start drag racing each other as we line up out in them. It was just one of those goosebump experiences that was just amazing, day one. Day two, we got into the more heavy-duty off-roading. We headed near Red Rock Canyon, and there's a whole mountain there. We went on this rocky gap, which is this crazy riverbed that intertwines on the trail. You didn't have a truck with at least 37s, you weren't going on that. There was a bit of body damage here and there, definitely rim damage. A few people got stuck. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you've seen pictures and seen these Gs, they were designed to do this stuff. With the portal axles, basically what it does is it gives you gear reductions from the actual axles themselves, which puts less strain on your engine so you can run bigger tires. And it also gives you a lift, on average like a 5-inch lift, but the lift is actually below the axle, so it actually gives you more clearance than a regular suspension lift would. So you get the bigger tire lift, and then you get your 5 inches, but that 5 inches pushes down below the axle shafts, and that gives you way more actual ground clearance than you'd normally get. And then the gear reductions mean you can power way larger tires without straining the engine. It handled it awesome. And being the short wheelbase, you know, here I am with all these big 4-door Gs and longer wheelbase, and I'm zipping around boulders that they had to drive over. I'm making corners they had to do 3- and 4-point turns on to do. So yeah, having the short wheelbase was definitely awesome. The off-roading's over for the day. We're gonna drive our Gs to our hotel. We decided to drive down the strip in our monster Gs and turn a few heads. My favorite part was obviously the dry riverbed and going up, and you know, we made it to the peak, the North Peak Trail. Driving down into Red Rock Canyon was some of the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen off-roading. The pictures, everything else kind of shows it, but it's a different experience being there.
Essentially phase 1. Phase 2 is some lighting, solar panels, maybe a little bit more body armor and a couple other little things, but this one's getting really close.
If anyone is interested about the flares, are they for sale? Are we gonna
They could
produce
be
them?
if we get enough interest, but they're not inexpensive.
That's a good way to put it.
If we get enough interest, we may pull molds of them.
Yeah.
But for now, this is the only set in the world.
I think that's pretty much it. If you like this and more G-Wagons and all of the builds that we have here, like and subscribe. We'll see you later. Bye.